All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm guessing we'll probably have some people kind of jump in as we go along, but we'll get started with our full team call at 7 right here on the same link. So feel free to just kind of stay with us right here in this room. Really just wanted to bring everybody together and kind of share some insight to, make everyone's first experience at Tahoe, or if you've had some gap time since being in Tahoe, a little bit easier. So with that, feel free to chime in with any questions. Let us know what's on your mind. Really, the goal is this is all for all of you. And again, we'll record the session too, so that way we can share it with anybody who wants to get the information. And I'll also take notes on the side here so we can share those out post call and with anybody else who wants to recap any pro tips that have been shared with us. So with that, I will hand it on over to Dominic.
Great. Thanks, guys. So we actually have, quite a few new folks on this on our team this year, and so we've been getting lots of questions here and there. Between Tina's been working really hard on itemizing like everything we need to know for Tahoe, and of course, if you're following the emails, you'll get all that stuff. But I wanted to do a couple things, and this is really, an opportunity for you guys to ask questions. But here's what I've been hearing from some folks, and so I thought I'd just run through it. And I wanted to start with just definitions, because we throw around these things and we wonder whether or not you know what we're talking about. So I'll do it with what are the main highlights of what's going to go on in Tahoe? So for those teammates that are VIPs, and if you've seen there's been a lot of notes around and info around. So anybody that raises $10,000 or more is a VIP. And there's a special reception Friday evening and dinner Friday evening for that. So among being, incredibly grateful for that kind of donation, there's extra recognition there. So the activities for the whole team start Saturday. And so one term you might hear is Circle of Heroes. And that's an event for all of us. And it's for any team that raises $250,000 or more. And we've already just about doubled that and more. So that'll be a great thing. And there's also some individuals that'll be recognized there. So that'll be a fun kind of event. Packet pickup, kind of self-explanatory. You get your bib, you get your info there, but there's also the T&T Lounge, which is kind of an opportunity to buy some stuff, get some photo ops. So it's kind of like just a fun place to hang out. So that's like in one of the conference rooms in the hotel. We will be having a team meeting where we're going to go over everything we need to know for the next day. We'll have gotten updates for road conditions and like really the whole thing about the ride and a whole lot more too. So definitely plan on that. We're still trying to figure out the time of that, but that's an event. That's kind of an event. And then you might have heard the team rally and inspiration dinner. And those are kind of both kind of combined events, really worth going to. You all get tickets to that, and it's really a great thing. It starts at 6 p.m. Saturday, so we would have wrapped up all of our meetings, and it's kind of the last thing to do. But that's what that's about. And then after that, you pretty much have a little bit of time to relax and then get ready to get up early and ride. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and like I said, feel free to jump in if you got any questions. But I thought I'd give you an overview of what the ride looks like and what to expect. We're all going to start together. with the exception of the riders that are doing the 35 miles. So anybody doing 100 or 72, we'll pick a meeting spot at our hotel to meet at. Our hotel is very, very close to the start line, and we'll ride over to the start line together in one big group. I'm sure there'll be photos before that and whatnot. But the ride itself, so we're all going to take off at once. And I think, Tina, you could chime in here, but I think we will get prime positioning because our team has raised the most money in the country. So we'll be toward the front, probably in the first wave that takes off, which is kind of nice because it's crowded. So we get ourselves a little bit of space to get rided, to get going. Oh, there you go. And then we're going to work our way around the lake, and the folks doing the Century will go out to Truckee and back. Much like much like the SAGs that we have on our training ride, there's pretty nice rest stops there for water, for food, for restroom breaks. And those are spread out right around 20 miles, similar to what we do on our training rides, maybe even a little bit less. They're well stocked, but if you have something works for you, like to eat or energy drink, whatever, and it works, and you're concerned, because other things bother your stomach, whatever, carry it with you. But otherwise, they're very well supported with a variety of items. Your assistant coaches should be going over like what's your plan for SAG. And the reason why I say that is, unlike ours, which are really just for us, they're kind of crowded. So typically, like my ride groups, what we do is we come in, we all park our bikes in one spot, then we go grab our food and water, then we get in line for the restroom because they could be very long, and we're like eating food as we're waiting. And then we come all back with a group and then decide if we need more time to hang out before rolling. So your assistant coaches will come up with however you want to handle that. The other thing to note is, as I said in my note a while back, even on the best day, it will be very cold in the morning. And most people will dress in layers, and part of your packet pickup, part of your bib actually has, kind of on the bottom, you rip off the numbers. And one of those numbers is for a gear drop. So at the rest stops, at least the first two, if not the first three, there's an area where you could just stuff in your jacket or long fingered gloves or whatever you don't need anymore. If you want to shed a layer or two, they'll have bags there. You stick it in a bag, you put your number in that bag, and it'll be waiting for you at the finish line. So kind of a nice service, so you don't have to carry along stuff. And if it's especially cold and you wear a jacket, it's probably not what you want to carry in your jersey pocket for 100 miles. So that's kind of a nice service too. So take advantage of it. Some ride groups kind of jam everything in one bag, but do whatever you want. There's also food, lunch at one of the rest stops, the rest stop before the last climb. So most of the rest stop have what you probably are expecting: bars, gels, electrolytes, water, some sort of energy drink. The lunch stop's actually lunch, so you get sandwiches and stuff like that. I think you get a cookie, not as good as Tori's cookies, but you get a cookie. So that's usually a longer break. Most people kind of hang out there for a little bit longer, eat some lunch, and that's right before the last climb of the day, and dropping you back into the finish. So it's so that's what the ride looks like. There are roving vehicles around, much like us, in case something happens. There's a lot of people, so be, we have a pretty big group ourselves, but there's a lot of other people. And you might notice things like people from other areas of the country, not to pick on Nebraska, but I know Nebraska's flat, so they might have a harder time than we do on the climb. So I want to say typically it gets a little crowded, but we'll have the advantage of leaving early. So maybe that first Emerald Bay climb won't be as crowded, but it could get a little, there's a lot of people there. So you got to be mindful of that. So use your etiquette, when you pass people on the descents and call out on your left. Most people do that. Not everybody does. So be aware of that. But it's a friendly group, right? So it's a kind of very energetic day. So that's my overview. I know I've left out a ton of stuff, but what's on your mind? Any thoughts? Anything kind of you're wondering about, like what's going to happen up there? Now's the time.
I'll let you know, I was a little surprised last year that not all the roads were closed. So just be aware that there is traffic. There are signs. They do know I think it's on the second half of the ride. It was a little bit more crowded, and you just had to be really careful of vehicles and your speed, because there were some downhills. And it got a little scary, but I don't think I heard of any problems. So just be aware that the road is open in some sections. So that was, I wasn't prepared for that, but it was not a big deal.
That's a good point. And, especially the first climb, Emerald Bay, it's interesting that the climbing side, the right lane is closed, the left lane's open. So, you might, want to pass people that are going super slow, but just remember, never cross that yellow line. It's a weird thing. They have it open for, emergency access, but only our lane is closed. And then a lot of the other rides, the roads are not closed the whole way. So, I mean, we've been practicing that all season, so I don't expect any issues. I think the only thing that won't be used to is just people. And as the ride gets longer, things spread out, so it's not as much of an issue.
I think last year it was just Emerald Bay that was closed when we were riding, and everything else was open, like as far as the roads. So I don't know if it's going to be the same situation this year. Close to cars. I mean,
yeah.
One other thing that I remember from last year is I was a little disappointed in the lunch. Like, I was expecting something different. I think they handed you like a turkey sandwich or a cheese sandwich, and they had little packets of ketchup and mayonnaise and some chips. And I was really tired because last year it was raining on us. I don't know if you have heard, it rained for quite a bit of the ride. And we were all miserable and really cold. And it just wasn't what I don't know what I was expecting, maybe, but so just be prepared, like Dawn said, to have your food, or my family was there, so they could have had food if my husband hadn't left my drop bag in the hotel instead of bringing it in the car. And I had a change of socks, I had different shorts, I had a jersey, I had shoes. I was all prepared to change, and he had left it in the hotel, and that was really disappointing for me.
Something tells me probably hasn't lived that down. I don't know.
He's not coming this year.
Fired him.
Issa, did you have other things that you noticed last year, or that you remember? I got some notes from Sarah Crawford, who's been on the team for a number of years. So she wanted to share things like, she says, don't skip out on the team events, like the team meeting, if we have a ride the day before, go to that. All of the activities we have are really fun and important. She is the one who also told me, like, when you're going up Emerald Bay, kind of leave a little room between you and the rider in front of you, and look at the camera and smile, because I have a picture of some guy like right in my only Emerald Bay photo. And I was like, oh, it was ruined. I didn't know,
Yeah.
she
There's,
mentioned,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
There's professional photographers at different areas of the route, and so you'll see them. It's very obvious, and then also try to like grab if you can grab like a snap of like or just a mental note of like what time it is
They
because
have little clocks. They have clocks that say what time it is on, like right before you get to the photographer. So I didn't know what that was. And then I was like, oh, 7 o'clock. Okay, this is where we are. Like and because they send out the photo link maybe a week or two later. And there's like 20 files and it's by time, like area and time. So you have to really search through them. So Sarah had also suggested to wear something that might identify you. A lot of people have like black helmets, but the people who had orange or yellow, you could really find them easily. My handlebar tape is very different from everybody else's. So I knew exactly what to look for. And I kind of checked out the other writers that were in front of me. So I kind of knew when I saw their pictures, mine was coming up. Sorry, I have a lot. I have so many notes that she gave me here. Sorry if I skip around. Sarah, she suggested that you connect with a couple of your teammates ahead of time and maybe share cell phone numbers if you don't have them, especially if you're not staying in the team hotel. I was part of a group thread of people who were driving up at different times. And so we kept each other in constant contact about what the road conditions were on our way up to Tahoe. I arrived on Friday. So we had a whole bunch of people that were going on Friday who said, oh, there's a slowdown here. There's an accident here. So we kind of knew that stuff, but also like, hey, I'm going to the team meeting, or do you want to meet me at the hotel? Blah, 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 stuff like that. And I remember that, for my breakfast here, I've been having oatmeal every day for my rides, and I would have, my hard-boiled egg and stuff. And then I realized in my hotel room, I couldn't exactly duplicate it. So I kind of had to shift my plans at the last minute. So it's kind of good to have a little bit alternate food. Just, be flexible about changing stuff. And
give yourself extra cushion as far as time and just extra cushion in general. There's going to be a lot of people there, and so it might take longer to catch an elevator, or I think there's also a suggestion that like instead of catching the elevator, walk down the stairs because it takes a long time to catch the elevator, but just give yourself extra space. I gave myself extra space on Sunday on ride day, and I still found myself scrambling. Which kind of sucks because I showed up to what I thought was the start area and it wasn't quite. So like even just trying to maneuver like where the actual start line is, but give yourself space.
Yeah, I went to get coffee or I went to get tea beforehand and the line was so long and the people were so slow. So I ended up sending my daughter, I was like, get me my drink and get it to me. Looks like Norm has a question.
Yes. Are the hotel staff going to freak out and it's just taking our bikes in the elevator?
No, they're used to it. They're all prepared for it.
Of course, we're in a different hotel this year, but they'll be fine.
I did not stay in the team hotel last year and I did not have a problem.
I've taken my bikes on trips with me and I have a small bike too, but like I've never had any problems in the elevator or bring it up to my room.
Be prepared for different types of weather and bring everything, whether you need it or not. It's really good to have it. And if you find out that there's something that you decided that you needed and you don't have it, there's a sports store, and I forget the name of it, and I know it's in the packet information because I think last year they had some packet pickup there as well. It's right near the Rayleigh's or the grocery store, and you can buy anything that you need there.
Like Tahoe Sport Limited or something like that.
Thank you. And we had a writer a couple of years ago who said that their bike shorts, they ripped open, and they contacted somebody that was with them and they said, please bring my other bag to the second SAG stop. And so they were able to change their clothes. So You know, a lot of us didn't realize that it was going to rain last year. So here we were with short finger gloves on top of long finger gloves with plastic gloves on top of it to try to stay warm. And thank God Isa had all of those items with her. So she was able to prepare for the unexpected. So just have a lot of everything.
Yeah. We got a tip last year also of bringing an extra pair of socks in like a sandwich baggie. And so it really helped because when I say wet, I mean, I got out of saddle and I felt my socks squish, like squish. So I was like, I don't know what the point of changing it's going to be because my shoes are wet, but it still helped. So
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to have any rain this year. So, but
no,
good,
we've
good
already had
tip.
it.
Yeah, we had our one bad ride for every 10 years, so we should be good to go.
Excellent. What else? I'm trying to look through here. It says,
if it is wet out there, don't ride on the paint. That was that was ingrained in us so much that I was like, okay, watch out for that. Also, if there's a lot of grates in Tahoe, so just kind of be aware of that. Like as you're riding in the bike lane, I swear to you, it's like every 10 feet. It's like great. It takes up a lot of space, but watch out for that.
I think the road is, you know, available for us, but they're not going through with a street sweeper and cleaning it, you know, ahead of us, you know, oh, we got to get ready for the Tahoe riders. It's just like, it's available. So it's just like Isa said, be aware. One other thing it says here, the best place for your fans to see you is at the start, when you're leaving the hotel, and at Kings Beach lunch stop, and the finish line. And it's really great to have people at the finish line. And then your ride group coaches, your assistant coaches can help provide a little ETA. I was able to stop and tell my family where I was so they could be at the finish line. I know some people have like trackers so their family members can see them and know where they are. So it was good you didn't have to communicate if you were on the bike, they could find you.
Yeah, there is cell service everywhere, so it's pretty nice.
And then what does it say? Pack a riding outfit for hot sun and snow. You'll never know what the day will be. Bring spares. So just like I said, have extra of everything. And nothing new on ride day. That is my one suggestion. At least I have for when I did run team. I remember one year I chose a different lip balm. Like I ride with lip balm all the time. I chose a different one and it just derailed me. And it seems like the stupidest little thing, but it was something new and it really messed with me. So don't try a new pair of shorts or a new pair of cleats or whatever you do. You know, I don't suggest new items on ride day.
Awesome. Well, that just about wraps up our half hour. I know that just like absolutely flew by. Tori and Isa, I'll reach out to you guys and maybe we can compile a list of if there's any other like hot tips for ride day. We will share a little bit more in the next section of our call, but we have our honored teammates and a few of our alumni that are ready to join us. So feel free if anybody has any questions, definitely feel free to use this well.
Reach out.
Definitely. Whoa.
Here we go.